We got a great guest joining us here on the show this morning. So our sister station, 105.5 The Ticket, is a White Sox affiliate. That's right. You can hear all the White Sox games on the radio on our sister station, The Ticket. And one of the voices you're going to hear will be the radio play-by-play announcer of the Chicago White Sox. And he is Len Kasper, and he joins us this morning. Good morning, Len. Thanks for spending some brief time this morning with us.
Hey, Josh, Dale, good to be with you guys.
Good morning.
Yeah. So, the White Sox just started spring training. So we're in the midst of getting ready for the regular season. Len, what excites you the most about the Sox heading into this season?
Well, I think when you look at the organization right now, it's very prospect heavy. They have one of the top-ranked farm systems in baseball. I think on the pitching side in particular, they have arguably the two best left-handed prospects in the sport in Noah Schultz and Hagen Smith. And, we don't know exactly how many of those prospects are going to be with the club when the season starts. Probably not a ton of them, but I think as the season moves along, this team might actually be getting a little younger. There are some veterans in camp in terms of position players, but I think, for instance, at shortstop, they'd like Colson Montgomery to do everything he can to, if not grab the job on opening day, to certainly be here sooner than later. So I think that's the big excitement here. When you're coming off a tough season like the White Sox had last year, record 121 losses, you're looking for, I think, general improvement in just about every area. I don't think you could look at last year's club and say that they were particularly above average at anything. So there's a lot of room for improvement, but with a new manager and a new staff here, I think there's a new energy kind of hitting camp here, and I'm excited to see how it all gels.
Sure. So I know there's been some focus on the potential of guys like Luis Robert Jr. and Andrew Vaughn. Any of those guys you most excited to watch this year?
Well, Robert is coming off a kind of an injury-plagued season, batted I think just .224, and I when you look at Robert, he arguably could be, one of the top two or three center fielders in baseball. So I would really expect a bounce-back year from Luis. There's been some rumors about would he be a potential trade chip at some point, but I think, until he has that, 2 or 3 month stretch we're used to seeing with a lot of power, obviously Gold Glove defense and speed on the bases. I think it's in there. We've seen it before. We just didn't see it in long enough stretches last year. And in terms of Andrew Vaughn, the numbers have probably not matched the way the White Sox view him and his batting IQ. He's a really smart hitter. There could be 25 to 30 home run potential in there. Defensively, I think he's made a lot of improvements. And I think from Vaughn's perspective, there's some leadership qualities that he possesses that I think you're going to see come out this year. So those are absolutely two of the anchors and guys who've been here for a few years, and they're probably trying to get to know the names and the faces of a lot of their new teammates right now.
Hey, Len, looking at the deeper bench or the overall team, you've probably answered this already in a number of ways, but are there any really young White Sox players you think that our fans should be keeping their eye on?
Well, I mentioned the pitching, obviously, but position player-wise, Colson Montgomery is probably the number one name. Real tall shortstop, left-hand batter. Had a tough year at AAA last year, but then followed that up with a terrific Arizona Fall League. He hit a home run the other day in the Cactus League opener. I think defensively is making improvements as well. Turned a really nice double play the other day. And the White Sox also acquired, a lot of young players in that trade they made with Boston when they sent Garrett Crochet to the Red Sox. Chase Mydroth is a name to know. He led the minor leagues in walks last year. Kind of a second baseman, third baseman, can play a little shortstop. I wouldn't be a bit surprised if he could grab a spot on the opening day roster and would really help that on-base percentage for the White Sox. Kyle Teal, left-hand hitting catcher, came over from the Red Sox. The Sox have a lot of depth now at catcher, and I think the two names to think about are Teal and switch-hitting Edgar Caro. Those are kind of considered the catchers of the future, but it'll probably be Corey Lee and Matt Thaiss at this point, barring anything weird, to start opening day. So, yeah, there are a lot of really interesting names on that list. I mentioned veterans. There are guys in camp like Brandon Drury, Joey Gallo, Mike Tauchman, Michael A. Taylor. So the White Sox definitely have some guys with experience who could end up grabbing a lot of playing time early in the year.
Cool.
Len Kasper, radio play-by-play announcer for the Chicago White Sox, is with us this morning. Len, have you been able to observe Will Venable, as he's entering his first year, not only as the Chicago White Sox manager, but also as a manager in MLB? Have you been able to observe his leadership style?
I actually was around Will for a couple of years when I was with the Cubs. He was on Joe Madden's staff before he ended up in Boston with Alex Cora, and then was the right-hand man for Bruce Bochy in Texas. And as you guys know, he won a World Series a couple of years ago. So I've known Will for a bit. He's one of the smartest people I've been around, and I think intellectually curious, super competitive. He has all the traits that you would want in a major league manager. He's not that far removed, only about a decade from playing in the big leagues as an outfielder. So I think he can relate to today's player quite a bit. I think the biggest challenge for Will early on, because he's been a coach for a while, is delegating. But I think that's something in spring training that you obviously have to do, because you have over 70 players on your roster in terms of the invites and in big league camp. So you can't really touch everything. And, I think he's had to already rely on his coaching staff quite a bit. When you're a big league manager, you are a coach. You definitely get your hands dirty in terms of drills and overall philosophies, but I think it's more about organization and leadership, and he possesses those qualities.
The new season's going to be opening up soon. Are there serious matchups you're looking forward to seeing this year, or excited about the possibility of seeing a couple of teams come head-to-head?
Well, this will be the second year of actually third year, I believe, of playing all other 29 teams in baseball. So the White Sox play, obviously, all the teams in the American League, and they play the Cubs 3 home and home, and then they'll play either at the other National League teams or welcome those teams to our ballpark. I have to mention the Dodgers. The White Sox will play in L.A. this year. The Dodgers won the World Series, and they're pretty stacked once again. And we mentioned the White Sox farm system. The Dodgers probably have the top-ranked system in the league. It doesn't even seem fair at times. But Shohei Ohtani might be back on a big league mound by May, and the White Sox will be in Los Angeles toward the middle of the season. So we know Ohtani is an MVP just as a DH. If he's back to pitching, look out. So I wouldn't mind seeing Ohtani do that, although I'm sure the White Sox would rather not have to face him. Let's put it that way.
Right. Hey, Len, is it okay if we ask you a couple more questions, maybe outside of White Sox, but still about your career as a broadcaster?
Absolutely.
Awesome. So, Len, did your approach to calling games, did it change? Because you were in radio, and you moved to TV, and then now you're back to radio with the White Sox. Have you seen that the way you call games change or evolve over that time?
No question. Television is unique in that you're captioning pictures. It really is an analyst's medium. You're calling the game in my chair, but it's also a lot about setting up the analyst. There's more time, I think, to tell stories and to dig into deeper topics, whereas radio, it's more the what and the how and all that stuff, because everything that happens for the listener is only what they hear come out of your mouth.
Right.
So you're constantly telling everybody where the ball is, what the count is, what the score is, the inning, the batter's lefty, righty, the weather conditions. You're kind of resetting the basics, and you're trying to do it in unique and refreshing ways. And you're just describing the action, and it's a different art form for sure. I have a great partner on radio in Darren Jackson. I think baseball on the radio, it's kind of the purest form of the sport, and I really love doing it every day.
That sounds like a pretty busy time. Len, I'm a bit of a musician hack myself. I have an extreme interest in music, but I understand outside of baseball, you also have an interest in music. What can you tell us about that?
Yeah, it's a nice diversion, a nice hobby that has nothing to do with my day job, and I think we all, probably need those diversions. I play bass, and I write songs for a band called Sonic 45, and it's been really rewarding. We've put out 2 records, and we don't play out a ton, maybe 2 or 3 times a year max, but I have a great group of people I work with, and I write the material for the most part. They learn it, and they love playing it, and as a cohesive unit, it's really rewarding to play in front of people who might not even know what I do in terms of my day job, but it really is it really is a lot of fun and creative and challenging for sure.
For sure.
Len Kasper, the radio play-by-play announcer for the Chicago White Sox. Thanks for spending some time early this morning, talking to us.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. And we look forward to hearing you more on the Ticket, our sister station, as we get those White Sox games rolling this season. So thanks, Len. Have a great day.
Thank you, Len.
Really enjoyed it. Thanks, guys.
Take care.